I'm Tyson Jarrett. I'm from Sanpete County, Utah. I was born in an inactive LDS family, but they made me go to church, so I was always active. All my friends were also active, and pretty much everybody in my community was pretty heavily active in the LDS church.
Andrew Swanefelt. And religious affiliation, it's a difficult thing to say. I usually click like Christian other or more spiritual than religious. Lived here for my entire life with the exception of 2 years where I lived in Colorado. So what would that be, 23 years I've lived in Utah.
The LDS was kind of a clique, like their only religious clique, like the real heavy LDS people who would gasp when you'd swear or always go to church and just like really into the religion, and they kind of had their own clique. It wasn't really like a bad one, they didn't discriminate, but it was kind of their own thing. And then there was the other ones where they were just kind of anti-church everything, but they kind of had their own, and they were real small, so it was a small community, so it was kind of hard to be a rebel because there wasn't enough people to be rebels with you. So mostly it was real heavy with the LDS, and then there's just a couple that weren't.
Living in Morgan, it's such a small town, and majority is probably about 98% LDS or so. People are pretty good not to look down at other people for their religious beliefs, but you know, there was a good chunk of that 98% that would just, you know, didn't want to have anything to do with you if they knew that you didn't go to their church. People in the neighborhood and stuff would get invited to things, and then our family kind of didn't get informed or invited to these things. And it was kind of an our way or the highway mentality that I got from a lot of people living in that town. You know, despite the fact that we vehemently defended our own beliefs, my family and I, you know, instead of inviting us to come to community functions or whatever, they sent the missionaries to our house all the time, despite us telling them, we don't want you to come, please don't come. And then growing up in school, you know, it's kind of difficult to explain to kids, 5th graders, 6th graders, and then when we get into high school, how your beliefs differ from theirs and why you're not going to seminary or whatever.
So it was really dominant Caucasian. There was very few blacks, a few Mexicans. We had, once again, Caucasian was the majority. That's what you'd mostly see in high school, down the streets. I hate that it's so one-sided. Like everything's heavy Republican, heavy LDS, no questions, God's on my side, you're wrong. But it's hard to argue with people and like actually keep a legitimate argument going. That's pretty much it. There's just too much of one thing. It's not conversing. Coming to the U is a culture shock for me. So.
But also, I will admit, besides that, having lived in other states and visited other states, my parents currently living in Texas, it's nice to go to another state where you don't have this heavy LDS like shadow looming over everything, every aspect of life here in some way. The really good example was from a couple of years ago when they had that block down on Main Street that people wanted to use as a free speech area, and the church said that it would. They couldn't do that. The church ended up purchasing the area so people couldn't go there and speak their minds.